Hey everybody, welcome to Nikaiju Gaming. Thanks for joining us today. We're going to sit down, we're going to have some coffee, we're going to have our controllers, and we're going to talk about what I consider to be one of the best MMOs ever made. Bane's going to give his thoughts, I'm going to give my thoughts, we're going to have a conversation. Hopefully we can get this game back up and running because we love it that much. So grab your coffee, grab your controllers, let's talk about Star Wars Galaxies and Empire Divided.
SWG was Star Wars Galaxy.
Yes.
Empire Divided. That was a very popular and famous MMO in the early 2000s.
In my eyes, that's the original MMO. I know there were things before it, I know.
Well, so, and it had a very, at the beginning of the game, it had a very unique skill system.
God, that was epic. That was such a good skill system.
That allowed a player to literally completely customize the way you played the game and choose from a variety of different skills. And that allowed you to be a doctor, a dancer,
a craftsman, like literally, you could craft stuff, and you could open up. You could literally open up your own shop, and then put mannequins in your shop to display your armor that you crafted or your weapons that you crafted, and they would be your vendors. And you could put all the stuff you craft on your vendor. That's such a I'm sorry.
And then those vendors allowed you to have a storefront that was where you could still make in-game money online while you were offline.
Yep.
And you know, and the dancer aspect of it was very unique in that you could play the game and your goal was literally to be social. It was a social media network, so to speak, where you stayed in a cantina where players would have to come to rest, and you were the only way that they could decrease a certain statistic called fatigue that they accumulated while they were out doing combat. So they would have to sit there in real time watch you dance in order to decrease their fatigue, and then once their fatigue was at zero, they would, most of the time tip you for the dance. Yeah, and so you would make your in-game money by dancing. And to this day, I've never seen any kind of social or job like that, or social class like that, where so this entire ecosystem was very carefully designed, and it was an amazing idea. But along came what they called the NGE, which was a very large patch that was designed to completely change the system we just described to a World of Warcraft-like XP leveling system.
Yep.
And it completely scrapped the customizable system.
So, Bane, before you carry on, me 1 second. I want to throw a caveat in there. So, Bane was just talking about the social aspect of it. In this game, when you leveled up, air quotes, leveled up a skill, you didn't go to an NPC to get trained in your next skill. You had to stand in the middle of feed, shouting out to other players for the players to come and teach you your next skill.
Right. So you learned from other players. You got trained by other players that had already mastered the skill.
Yep.
So that was also a very social aspect of the game.
Pushing you to engage. It wasn't about hey, I'm going to level my one character, I'm going to do it all by myself, and once I get to max level, then I will start running with other people because I need help to run in-game content. from day one in Star Wars Galaxies, you had to engage. Oh, you didn't even mention. So a lot of games, and this needs to be a coffee and controllers, dude. A lot of games.
Turn it into one. Maybe we clip it out.
Right. A lot of games. They've got base building. You get a little house, and you can decorate your little house, and you can put some little pets or something run around. Not only did this game give you a house that you had to buy from another player whose class wasn't, but they gave you a city. You could literally build
guild player cities.
Yes, you can build player cities, and you had a mayor, and the mayor, he decorated the city, and he set up taxes for the shuttle port, and he set up taxes for players that came into your city and used the mission terminals. The mayor set up taxes for all that to get money coming into the city to continue to buy decorations and stuff for the cities. Never in my life have I seen a game. I hate every game compared to SWG.
Yeah.
It is absolute pre-combat upgrade.
Well, for those of you, that haven't heard our bio, SWG is the game that solidified Raz and I's friendship.
Yeah.
And the game was so social, it was to the point that it actually gave us a 20-year friendship.
Yes.
And I'm still friends, real-life friends, with people that I met in that game.
Yep.
That's how closely you had to work with other players.
Absolutely.
So, Tracks, buddy, if you're out there listening, I'm sure you're agreeing with a lot of what we're saying. Also, Pickle, if you're out there.
Punks, yep.
Yeah, Punks, all you guys that were there in the Galaxies with us. It's a good time.
Another thing. Star Wars Galaxies. You want to be a bounty hunter in Star Wars Galaxies?
You're hunting real players.
Guess who you have to go kill? You don't go kill NPCs and call yourself a bounty hunter. You better throw your droids out. You better send your droids across the galaxy to find out where this player is located, carry your ass there, and try and kill him.
Yeah.
You better hope he doesn't have friends.
That was one of the versions of PvP, was bounty hunting other players.
Yep.
And that included the special Jedi class. So, other players, if they found all the secrets and did all the extra stuff, they would actually unlock the Jedi class that was not available at the beginning of the game. You couldn't just make a Jedi, you had to earn it.
Yep.
And once you earned it, you had to level it up the same as any other class in order to get your skills. But the difference is, if you were a Jedi and you were spotted, because this game took place at the point in Star Wars lore where Jedi were being hunted because of Order 66.
Yep.
You had to hide out in secret and train. And if you got seen with your lightsaber out or using your Force abilities by any other player, your name would go up on the bounty hunter terminal.
Yep.
And those bounty hunters would come after you, and if you got killed, you lost a lot of XP.
Yep.
Very hard-earned XP. And I know this because I was a Jedi, which is where my Bane name comes from.
Not me, because I don't have the patience. I didn't have the patience to do the grind. You had to master four classes that were identified to you, and then the fifth one wasn't identified, so you kind of had to just guess which one it was. And I mastered like 2 or 3 out of the 4 that were identified, and then I was like, fuck it. This is going to sound really jacked up. So what was your favorite class, Bane?
My favorite class? Oh,
Yeah.
that's easy. It was Jedi.
It was Jedi? This is going to sound...
yeah, because after certain updates, they increased the power of Jedi. So once you got your skills, you were essentially a god in the game. And you could come out of the shadows and you could literally wipe the floor with like 30 other players in PvP battles. So when you get, the reward was worth the effort.
Right.
Like Braz was saying, you had to master. You had to keep mastering the different classes in the game until you found your secret unlock. Well, for me, it took 27 out of 32. So I mastered 27 different classes.
Yeah, out of 32. And this, again, remember, this isn't your typical, I'm going to go out, I'm going to kill some creatures, I got level 2. I'm going to go out, I'm going to kill some creatures, I got level 3. No, this is hours and days and even months, like Bane said, sitting in a cantina and you're just dancing, talking to people,
Right.
Just dancing to master that dance class, or you're in the cantina playing an instrument, mastering the musician class. This is the game. I don't know anything about computers, but this is the game that taught me what the fuck a macro was. Okay, I had no idea what a macro was until I started playing this game, and I could only literally play for 4, maybe 5 hours, and then it was bedtime or time to go to work or something like that. So Bane and a few other of our friends that we ran with, they taught me how to write a macro. So while I was sleeping or while I was at work, my character would continue to sit in the cantina and dance and gain XP and dance and gain XP.
Pretty fantastic, and I do miss it. And I wish somebody would go back and do an official, I would say remake, but even if it wasn't a remake, even if it was a completely different game with a different IP that had the same social aspect, I would be into it. Game exactly the same way as I was at SWG, because it wasn't just that I was a Star Wars fan. There was something about that system that made it literally like a second life.
Yep, absolutely.
There was really so much to do.
My favorite.
They just don't. What's that?
Sorry, you said your favorite class was Jedi. Can you guess what my favorite class was? I bet you never guessed. No, it wasn't Dancer. Nope.
What?
It wasn't Dancer.
Creature Handler.
Well, Creature Handler.
That was everybody's favorite.
But Creature Handler, that's a whole separate. We'll talk about that one in a second. We'll talk about that one in a second. Yeah.
We need to get some other people in here to have this discussion to talk about, because Creature Handler was probably the most popular class in SWG, and there were some very sketchy decisions made about Creature Handler, and the developers made some very unpopular changes. Anyway, go ahead. Sorry.
My favorite class in SWG was Image Designer.
Yeah, Image Designer. So your whole job in Image Designer was to
customize characters.
Customize other players' characters. They would come to you, tell you what they wanted, and you would sit there just like a beauty salon, and you would have this whole makeup session.
Yep.
Or a makeover session where, you very carefully help them choose what looks best.
Their eye color, Wookiee's fur color, his pattern, his height, the horns on the Zabrak, their style, the tattoos on the Zabrak. You would change all of that stuff. And I socialized more as an image designer, and I made more money as an image designer than I did as a dancer.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah, and guess what? So what you would do is, what I did anyways, Sherry, if you're out there, thank you. I could not have done it without you. But Sherry would meet me someplace in feed, and we would just sit there for hours, and I would just change her looks, just keep changing her. She always said, make sure you remember what I looked like before so you can put me back.
Ain't the way it works, sweetie.
Well, no, that's I did. I put it back to the way that she wanted. But there was one time, I think I made her. I was trying to level the category that lets you change the body type. So like the height and the weight. My game crashed. I made her super short, super tubby, and my game crashed. She was so not happy when I finally logged back in. It took about 30 minutes to log back in, but she was so not happy when I logged back in. She was like, I went around the corner and hid until you logged back in because I didn't want anybody to see me. It's like, wow, sorry.
So so I want to talk about what made that game so magical in terms of social. And I over the years, I pinpointed it down to the one aspect that I think that was responsible, that I know hasn't been repeated, at least in any game that I've played, or any MMO that I've played, is that we were only allowed to have one character.
One character.
One character. There was no anonymity.
Yep.
None. It's not like World of Warcraft. It's not like any of the other MMOs that followed World of Warcraft, where you could have 50 characters across your account, across multiple servers, and you could just do whatever goofy shit you wanted to do, and then just move on to your next character, and then end up deleting it.
Yep.
You had to make choices that would affect your reputation inside the game.
Yep.
And that's what I feel caused, people to either behave or not behave or make those choices, was they earned their reputation on the server. And it was not easy. It was not easy to get out of there, to get out of that reputation. So,
because one of our friends that we played with and we're still in contact with, again, a real life friend, he became like one of the most hated bounty hunters in the game.
Pickle.
Yep. Yep, exactly.
Every Jedi hated seeing him coming around the corner.
Because he was good at it. He was good at it.
He put a lot of work.
And
he put a lot of work.
Yep.
Pickle, I'm impressed. He put a lot of work into it, and he found so many ways to get Jedi.
Yep.
And anyway, so, but yeah. But he earned it, and
you want to talk about...
Fug, if you're out there, buddy, I don't know what you did to piss Pickle off, but, bruh. The backstory on that is there was this one particular Jedi, young Jedi, that was our buddy's favorite target, and man, it was a daily thing where Pickle would load up and go look for Fug.
Yep.
And, it's kind of his whipping boy,
the bounty hunter, you had to craft your seeker droids, and you would send out your seeker droids, and your seeker droids would go and they would search the entire planet that you were on. You would send out your I forgot what it was called. There was a droid you could send out, and it would tell you what planet the bounty was on, and then you had to get to that planet, and then you had to send out seeker droids to find, pinpoint his location on the planet.
Yeah.
And the bounty hunter had to craft your own secret droids, or you could go to a droid maker. So when Bane was talking about the classes, the cool thing was talking about bounty hunter and crafting droids. You could have more than one class. So what was it? Bioanalysis and doc, or combat medic. Combat medic used.
There were a lot of medical professions.
Yes, combat medic used stems and stuff like that to keep the group alive in combat. But in order to do that, you could either buy your med packs, or you could level up the bioengineer. That's what it was. You could level up bioengineer, and you can make your own med packs. At the same time, you level up a little bit of rifleman, so that you can actually fight in combat.
Yeah.
Because if you don't level up any combat proficiencies, you can't fight. You literally can't use a weapon.
And that was okay because, for example, I knew a lot of people that were 100% crafter, and they would actually hire people that were combat professionals to escort them out to collect their resources.
Yep.
So,
absolutely.
Again, leading to the social aspect, and then we actually, there was a class called Scout where you could, in Ranger, where you'd go out. Your ability was you would get increased harvesting capabilities, so you could collect natural resources a lot faster than other players.
Yep.
So the crafters would very often put out contracts on the website forums so that scouts and rangers would go out and get their resources for them and get paid.
Or you could just level to the point where you can harvest resources, build your own vendor, get your own little storefront, get the ranger and the scout abilities like Bane was talking about, and then you just sell the resources yourself. God, it's such an amazing game. I want to delete every game off my PlayStation and computer right now, just for sucking compared to SWG.
Yeah, there was some. Well, now let's be careful. We're all excited about talking about it, but I mean, it wasn't all rainbows and unicorns, dude. There was some.
Dude, let me tell you.
Yeah.
Everybody complains now whenever the PlayStation crashes or a game crashes or shit like that, dude. Man, y'all don't know what a game crash is if you have never played SWG. You don't know. That game was so, I don't want to say broken.
I don't know what the word I'm looking for is, but it's it had its technical issues.
A lot
of technical issues. I mean, and it's to be expected based on the amount of content that was in it.
Well, that, and it was 2003, 2004.
Right. And so it was an ambitious project, so we did give them a lot of leeway. Especially with this, but I was happy when the speeder rubber banding finally.
Yeah, that was bad. Oh God, nothing like flying across Endor and you make it through. What were those creatures? Those creatures that were on Endor, little spider-looking things. What were they called? I forgot what they're called.
You asked me too fast.
But you would. You would fly through a pack of those, and you didn't want to stop because they would prison sex you like it was cool. But then all of a sudden, boom, rubber band. You're rubber band right back into the middle of them. You're like, fuck.
Yeah.
I I like the combat. You know, when you went out with a group of people, everybody went to the mission terminal. Everybody take the most expensive mission to the northwest. So everybody in the group went. They went to the mission terminal. They found northwest direction, picked the most expensive mission, and everybody headed out as a group to take care of that mission. And whoever's mission it was, they tapped the target. You know, the mobs, they weren't just running around. I mean, there were a few that were just running around out in the open, but they had nests. When you had a mission, it had a nest. And you would go there and you would tap the target. You would tap it once, maybe twice, and one of the creatures would pop out. And then, you know, you would tap it again, and you would just keep tapping it, killing the creatures one by one until the nest was empty and the nest was destroyed. And then you, okay, who's got the next closest target?
Yeah, those brand new missions. Also another good friendship builder.
Yep. And there wasn't any real story. You know what I mean? It was, you know, I just told Lycan a little bit ago, this game is a big sandbox. You know, SWG, that's all it really was.
Yeah, it was. And that was one of the aspects that I loved the most about it, was a sandbox game.
Yep. I can do what I want.
And, you know, I'll speculate a little bit, but at the time, it was still before Disney. George Lucas was in charge of Star Wars, and I think a lot of the reason why there was no story was because they didn't want to mess with the lore, because the game was set in a very specific pocket.
Yeah.
And they didn't want to mess anything up, so they just had kind of a theme park set up. Oh, they actually called them theme parks.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is
where you could go and visit like the Emperor and Darth Vader and Luke and Leia and all them, but they wouldn't talk to you. There was no story.
Well, remember, they did change it. They did change it with the Vader theme park, where you ran maybe a series of 5 or 6 quests, and you were actually the character that found out Luke Skywalker was Vader's kid.
Oh, well, yeah, okay, but sure.
Hey, Petro.
I think the entire reason I didn't. Okay, I probably did. When I was doing that theme park, I didn't read shit. So I was just trying to get the achievement or whatever it was. You know, say I did it. Check that box.
Yeah, Petro. Sorry, me and Bane are reminiscing and talking about a game we used to play, Star Wars Galaxies, and how absolutely amazing that game is and was compared to MMOs now. It's like one of our favorite games.
See, yeah, because even before SWG, I was playing EverQuest with Lou and one of the other guys that we worked with, Mike, and even EverQuest was much more social, much more how do I say it? Interactive. You know, and I enjoyed World of Warcraft when it came out. I left SWG for World of Warcraft when it came out. I'm not saying I didn't enjoy World of Warcraft. I played it for over a decade. But I do feel that it devalued the MMO experience.
Yes.
To the point where it kind of killed it, at least for me. I know there's plenty of people still subscribed to that, World of Warcraft and all the other MMOs like it, but I would go back to a modern game that had the same experience like SWG and EverQuest, where it was more of a grind. It was more of a dedicated type game, less instant gratification, and more social interaction. Oh man, that would be so nice.
Petra, I never played. Petra just said EQ was a cool game.
Yeah.
I never played EQ. I wish I had. Same thing with Guild Wars. I never played Guild Wars. SWG was my first real MMO that I got into. Final Fantasy Online, when that first came out, when it first came out, prior to the Calamity, which is the original game. I played that for maybe 2 weeks, and then I went right back to SWG or WoW.
Yeah, I think, just like I was talking about before, the anonymity thing really kills it. I think, you need to be able to be limited on the amount of characters that you make.
Yeah.
And I think you need to be limited to how many servers you can play on. It's the way SWG was, because it forces it, in a good way, it forces you to earn your reputation.
Mm-hmm.
And you get to know other people.
But that's the thing, the reputation that you earned wasn't just NPCs. Your reputation, it was literally other players.
Well, yeah, and that's where I was saying there needs to be more social interaction in these other games.
Yeah.
Everything is instant gratification based on just your single account.
Right.
You don't have to rely on other players as much.
Okay, so there it is. Nikaiju Gaming's coffee controllers on Star Wars Galaxies and Empire Divided. We hope you guys enjoyed the video. Hope you guys learned something about the game. Again, it's amazing MMORPG. First one that I fell in love with. So hopefully we can find a way to get it back. LucasArts, get out there and bring that game back. We'll see what happens.